Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. I still know what you did last summer. So, I recently watched the Amazon series, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and at the very least, it made me want to watch the films again. The first two films, because I really loved them, and the third film, which I discovered on DVD, because it was direct to DVD, and never watched. So I thought, great, marathon, trilogy marathon. So I watched them. I loved the first film, and I did a review of that. And then we get to the second film. Now, the second film is much better than I remember. I mean, my main issue with it was, I think back in the day, the setting. The original film is set in a small town. It's much more relatable. It's much more like the town I grew up in. This film is based primarily on a resort in the Bahamas, because Julie, who is now at school and doing well, certainly her hair is doing better, her and her friend win a prize basically to go to the Bahamas for like a weekend. So she tries to invite Ray, but he can't get away from work because he's still like a poor fisherman. And her best friend is Brandy, and she tries to get her to take this other guy who's been sniffing around, who seems harmless. All four of them go. They get there, and Jeffrey Combs, I believe Jeffrey Combs is actually like the manager, and he lets them know, well, you basically arrived on the first day of the sort of off season where the storms and the monsoons and the hurricanes and the bad weather roll in pretty much like clockwork. So they're in the restaurant in the resort basically alone. There's like a bartender, the manager. There's like 5 staff I think for the whole place on the off season, but they try to enjoy it. Now we've got Michael Pfeiffer is the boyfriend, who is just really annoyingly sexually. He just all he wants to do is have sex with Brandy the whole time. All he does is complain that he's not getting sex from her. So he doesn't have much of a character. And the lady behind the bar, not much character either. The guy who's courting Julie, not much character either. But it's more about Ray and Julie anyway, and Brandy's character. What was Brandy's character? Carla. So basically, Ray was planning to go, but he gets stopped by being attacked by the fisherman, and he ends up getting there eventually. He manages to get out of the hospital and find a boat, and I think he takes it at gunpoint from the guy who owns it, and he travels to the island, and he gets there just in time, because initially, of course, they just think that Julie's suffering from post-traumatic stress and having flashbacks. Because, I mean, the end of the last film, she is imagining being attacked by the fisherman and isn't. And they do sort of refer to stuff like that, where she's imagining things and having nightmares. And it really happens really suddenly when all of a sudden they all find basically a dead body or get attacked at the same time, and they all realise, we're really in this, we're stuck on this island, we can't get off, there's a storm, and basically all the staff has been killed. And until then, it's sort of all happening in the background. And like I said, it's a fairly traditional slasher. The main characters are all likable, and Brandy, spoilers, survives, which is what we wanted from Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. We wanted her to come limping out of like that alley at the end of the film, like she survived somehow, but it didn't happen. But at least we get that with Brandy. There's only one really stupid moment where Brandy falls onto a roof of glass panes, and she could stand on the wood parts, but she stands on the glass and falls through, of course. And I remember seeing that thinking, how did they write that? I mean, what would have been more interesting is had she just landed on a bunch of broken panes, and then she was trying to get to the wood and to safety, it's cracking under her weight and cracks, and she can't get away. That would have been more thrilling than what. So that's basically the only complaint. That one scene that I didn't think worked. There's a little bit of a stretch for the villain, because I'm not going to give away exactly who the villain is in case you haven't seen it. But Michael Pfeiffer, I didn't mind seeing him die because his character was just obnoxious. He was just there to have sex with Julie, and not Julie, with Carla. And they had one of the members of the staff who's the survivor, the longest surviving, is believing in voodoo, and he's trying to sort of protect them and stuff like that, but they think he's the bad guy, of course. And a few twists and turns, a few red herrings, but but basically a nice little slasher. I appreciate the setting more now than I did before. It kind of ruined it for me the first time, and it's just a lot better than I remember. It's a worthy sequel. It should have made more money, and they should have made a third film for the cinema, but instead, like 7 years later, or 8 years later, we got a little direct-to-DVD film that really has nothing to do with this film. But I'm going to go into that and do a review of that next. But this came out the next year, literally a year later. So you'd assume it's rushed, but I don't think it really shows signs of that at all. I don't think it deserves, some of the criticism it gets. I think it's a good film. It's a good sequel. And I would watch the two together as a double anytime. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I hope I didn't forget anything. I'm just trying to keep these reviews to 5 minutes because I could talk all day about this stuff because I love it. But, no.